Hey friends, welcome back. Now we are going to continue our MERN stack series. This is our e-commerce project, and in this video we are going to work on admin authentication. We will work on private route so we can visit admin dashboard only when admin will be a logged in user. Okay, so let's continue. So here is our MERN e-commerce folder, and I think I already have. So this is here, and let's open this project in Git Bash. Okay, let me increase the font size so you can see the better. And here we have our MERN e-commerce project ls. We have three different application: admin app, e-commerce frontend, MERN backend. Okay, let's navigate to the admin app and let's open it in the VS Code. So here we have our application. So let's start from the fresh, close everything. Okay, now let's also open another terminal to run our backend. Okay, so let's open a new terminal, and now let's run npm start. So our server is starting, and let it connect with the database first. It is taking time. Okay, server is running on port 2000 and database also connected. Now also verify it with the help of Postman. So this is our admin API sign in. Now let's send the request, and we have got a new token, so it's successful, right? It's working. Now let's open our backend application, front-end application. So let me do the code. Okay, we have already. So let me run the front-end app. So npm start. So we are running our backend. Now we are running our front-end. So let's check in your browser. So now it's running, starting the development server. Let's go, and so anyone can navigate anywhere. So sign in, sign up. So there is no restrictions. Okay, so let's first make user logged in. So here is our sign in form, and I'm going to write an action. So let's open VS Code, source folder, actions, and auth.actions.js file. So here is our login action. Okay, so we'll create a file or folder, let's say helpers. So here we are going to use our here we are going to create an instance of Axios. So helpers, and let's install a library. We can also use a VS Code terminal. So because I'm already running two different terminals for both the applications. Okay, so let's use this admin VS Code terminal, and here we're going to say npm install. We are going to use Axios for API calls. Okay, Axios -- save, hit enter. So here our Axios package is installed. Now let's close the terminal, and let's go to your helpers folder and create a file that is nothing but axios.js. We are going to create an instance of Axios. So let me tell you why I'm using Axios as a different file. So the reason is I can create a centralized API. So in future I can change at one place and it will affect on all place. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so it's like let's first import Axios from, so it is Axios, and now let's create the instance of Axios. We'll say Axios instance. Okay, Axios instance from, Axios instance equals to Axios dot create. So it provides a method create, and it takes an object. Okay, here we can specify the base URL of API. So we don't need to use API everywhere, right? We can write our one API over here and we can use that everywhere, right? So first we're going to specify the base URL, the domain. You can say the domain or the half API, like that. So base URL, I'm going to create one more file for our configuration URLs. Okay, so I'll create a URL config.js, and here it is. Here I'm going to create a file, variable export const. We'll say API equals to, here we're going to say http localhost 2000. So this is our API URL, right? So this is our base URL and we can use this. Okay, so let's go to the Axios, and here we're going to say API, and you can hit enter and you can import this. Okay, so like this you have to import API, and we have a specified base here, base URL. Okay, we will specify authorization also, because there are some APIs where authentication is required. For that we have to mention headers, and here we have to say authorization. So right now we don't have any token, and also for the moment I am keeping it as an empty string authorization. I'm not mentioning anything, or you can comment this for now. Once we will set up it later. Okay, so let's save this and export this. Export default, we'll say Axios instance. Okay, save. Now let's go to your action file, and here we are going to make API call. So we'll say here const res, that means response. We'll say await, and here we're going to say Axios instance, right? So Axios instance. So this is Axios instance from the helpers folder. Instead of writing as Axios instance, we can also write Axios, because it's a default export, so there is no need to have exact same name. Axios dot, we are going to make a post request. Okay, so we have already specified the base URL. Its base URL is API, that is from localhost 2000 API, and remaining part we will specify over here. So that's actually /admin/sign in. So first we will verify the sign in. If sign in works well, then we will continue. Okay, so here we are going to specify the payload, so the data. So this is going to be email, and we are going to say, so let's first go to your file, like in your sign in folder, right? So here we have our containers, and here we have sign in, here we have index.js file, right? So we have added the input, but we haven't connected it with the input actually. So you can see how we are going to create a couple of states. Const, we are going to say email, set email, and we'll say use. We are creating the state, right? We'll say empty. So this is initially it will be empty. Const, and we need password. Okay, so here we're going to say set password. So some of you who don't know why I'm writing like this, let me tell you. So use state is a function. It's a hooks which helps to create the state in functional component. This use state returns an array with two values. The one is actual value, and the one is function by which we can set a value. Okay, so this is how it works. So let's save this, and here we have email, password. Also create a variable for the error, and set error. That is going to be a use state again. That is again empty, and you can import this use state from the React package. Okay, so let's save this, and now let's go to your input folder. Here we have our input folder. So instead of value, I'm going to say it's email. Okay, and on change we are going to say let's set email, and let's close this. Here we are going to have an event, and here we're going to say event.target.value. Okay, and for the password also we are going to do the same thing. Password type, and let's assign the value. So that is going to be password, and here it is going to be event, and now let's just set password and event.target.value. Cool. So let's save this, and okay, so we have created we have done with the email and password input. Now let's go back again to your action file, and let's comment this for now. Let's see it's working or not. So we are going to say let's first again, okay, so let's sign in, and here we are going to say the email and password, right? So here we have action, and instead of saying email like this, we are going to say simply like email comma password. Okay, and let's remove this, save. And now let's go check your browser, check your console. Here we don't have any error. Okay, now let's write the email. Yes, we are able to write email, so that's very nice. Akshay at the rate, that's webscript.info, and here we are going to say the password. And now let's submit. And here you can see we have got Akshay at the rate webscript.info. Hopefully it's working well. Now let's submit again. And yes, it's working fine. So we have got email Akshay at the rate 123 and password. So now let's go to your action again, and here let's uncomment this code. Okay, so the second parameter is an object, that's payload actually. So here we are going to say user, so that will spread as an email and password. Let's save this, and now let's go back to your application and let's type the email. So here we're going to accept the rate webscript.info, password will be 123456, you know, right? So let's submit this request, and this is a very well known, very famous error you can see. So here you can see we have got a very famous error, that is what we are trying to do here. We are trying to make a API call, that is API/admin/sign-in from the origin localhost 4000. So it's a two different origins. Like one, we have two different application, we have two different ports, and we might have two different domain name also, right? Two different APIs, you can say like that. So we are trying to make a request from one origin to another origin, and that is getting blocked by CORS policy. So if you don't know the CORS, it means the full form is cross origin resource sharing policy. So the backend, if you want some information from the backend application, then you have to give permission. Without permission, we cannot have the data, we cannot have the backend data, right? So CORS is a policy and it is blocking it. As you can see, if you read further, response to pre-flight request doesn't pass access control check. No access control or allow origin header is present on the requested resource. So the quickest way of doing this is, let's first open your backend application. Okay, that is already here, that you can see. So here we have our backend application, and what we have to do, the very simple way, just install a CORS package, else you can manually create the headers and all, you can allow whatever the URL you want. But for now I'm just going to add it, right? So let's first install, let's open the terminal again, and here you can see npm install, that is CORS --, save. Now let's save, hit enter. Okay, it's installing. So it's installation completed. So let's import the CORS. Require, we'll say CORS. Okay, now add this CORS as a middleware. Okay, so here everything we are adding our middleware. So here I'm going to add one more to validate the request, that is going to be the CORS, and right now it will allow all the URLs, okay, all the API calls. Now let's save this. Now you can close your application, it's okay, fine. Here let's go to the backend. Now let's reload your application. Okay, now let's try to make a request again. Clear your console and let's submit the request, and you can see this time we are not getting any error, and hopefully we are signed in. Check your network tab. Okay, so let's go up and you can see, yes, we made the request, and let me small the size. So here you can see we have made that's the failed one, dummy one, and this is, yes, so it worked actually. You can see we have got a response, that is user email, password, first name, last name, and everything we have got. Okay, token we have got. Okay, so this is working. Now let's go and close this one. Okay, so let's create couple of constants to make this work. So here I can say login request, login underscore failure, copy and paste over here, login underscore success. Let's copy, paste, save this. Okay, now let's go to the action, save, and here before making the request, first we'll dispatch an action. Type will be auth constant, so that's a request, login or login request, and here we are going to create some state variables. So reducers, auth reducers, and here we have, so let's create something like a token. Okay, and so it is going to be a null, and let's create a user, and here we are going to have first name. Okay, let's keep it first name, last name, email, not password, picture, user profile picture. So I think I forgot to add picture in our MongoDB database. We'll do it later. Let's keep it now empty. First name, last name, email, picture, and here we are going to say authenticate. So let's say false. Initially it will be false. Authenticate false. Okay, and then authenticating, that is again false. Okay, now here in login request we are going to spread the existing state, and here we are going to say authenticating, that is going to be true, means we are making the request, right? And then break. The second case we are going to act on that auth actions. Here we'll check if res dot status triple equals to 200. Okay, now here we are going to dispatch. So let's first get the component const, and we'll say equals to res dot data, and here we are going to say it is going to be token and user, right? So here we are going to save the token in our local storage. So in future we can use the token if user will reload the page, so we can access the token from the local storage, right? So let's save it, local storage dot set item, and here we're going to say token, and let's save the token, right? And after that we are going to dispatch an action, dispatch type is going to auth constants dot login underscore success, login success, and payload will be it's a token and user, right? So let's save this. Now let's go to the auth reducer. Okay, here we're going to write case auth constants dot login underscore success, and here we're going to say state. Let's split the old state, and so we can override. Okay, now we are going to say user first. So user is going to be action dot payload dot user, and token is going to be token, sorry, that is again action dot payload dot token, and next is what, authenticate. Okay, authenticate that is going to be true. Okay, we have got the user, we have got the token, so obviously authenticate will be true, right? So authenticate will be true, and here we're going to say break, save this. Now let's go and check it's working or not. Here we have the constants, here we have auth actions. Okay, and we don't need to dispatch this one. Okay, let's remove that, and if it is failure, then what you are going to do? So here if we are if you're getting in a status that is not 200, let's say it is 400, right? So if it is 400, it means that's an error, and we are going to dispatch error. say dispatch. Here we can say type auth constants dot login underscore failure, and here we can say payload is going to be error, so let's say error, and here we can get res dot data dot error, right? Now let's save this. So hopefully this will work. Now let's check in the Chrome browser. Let's make this window size normal. Go to the console, let's reload. Okay, clear your console. Let's type akshay@webscript.info, password, submit, and you can see we have got an action. First we have got login request, okay. Second we have got login underscore success, and we have got payload also, that is token, and we have got user, first name, last name, everything is working fine, right? So you can also check in the store, window.store.get state, and you can see we have auth, and here we have auth. So auth is authenticate true, authenticating is again true, so that's my mistake because it's already completed, right? So we have to update the authenticating, so that is actually going to be false. Authenticating, that is going to be false. Save. Okay, now let's go to the email Akshay and submit the request. Login success, open it, payload is fine. Check the store. Okay, so you can see auth and check. So authenticating is false because we are logged in, and authenticate is true. So we can check this authenticate everywhere, like wherever we need to check user is logged in or not. Now let's create a private route. Okay, so for that we are going to create a higher order component. So let's create src and components, and here we are going to create a folder hoc, and here we are going to say that is private route, right? Say private route dot js, and let's import a React component. So import React from React, and const will say private route, and here it is going to be props. So this is again a component, right? So instead of returning some JSX components, we are going to return a component over here. So that is going to be return, will say route. So let's import the route. So route from the React route.tom, and here we are going to say so it is going to be like path, and the second one is actually the component, right? So we are not writing like that. So here what we are trying to do, we will use this private route for the pages that needs to be logged in. Okay, so here you can check if you go in the app.js file, and you can see here we have three different routes: home, sign in, sign up. Sign in and sign up are public routes, so we don't need to use a private route. But for home, this is here user needs to be a logged in user, then only user can navigate to the home page. So here we have to use a private route instead of simple route. Okay, so let's now import this private route. Okay, first we have to, okay, let's impose private route, that's it, and we will keep path and component as an attribute. And now let's import the private route. So we'll say import, and here we can say private route from, so let's say I can say components, and here we can say hoc higher order component, and then private route. Okay, save. Now let's go to the private route and export this default private route, right? So what here we are going to get props. The props is nothing but actually the path and component, so we can simply spread the props. Okay, so it is going to work like normal. Right now it is working. Okay, so we have app.js and we have here private route. Now let's verify this, it's working or not. So hopefully it's already reloaded. So let's reload again, and you can see it is normal, right? Let's try to go to the admin dashboard, and it is working fine. and here we are using private route, not just route. Now let's add the authentication part, restriction part. Okay, so let's go to the VS Code, and now let's go to the private route, and here you can see we have private route. So here in this props we are getting component, path and exact sometimes. Okay, so here we are going to destructure this props in the here. So here we are going to destructure the props. So let's say props. So we are getting component first. Okay, so let's extract the component from here, and let's store it in a variable like component. So that is start from capital C. So we have stored our component, that is actually the component. Okay, and the remaining property, I will create a new variable with the name of rest. So this is how we can create an object with the rest of the properties. So that's why I've given a common name rest, and let's spread the rest. So here I'm getting path and exact, and component I have already stored in this component variable. Okay, so now let's use component property over here. So here component, instead of writing component directly, let's verify it like user is logged in or not. So we can also write a component over here. We can create a new component over here. That's nothing but a component. Component is nothing but just a function, right? Props. And one thing I forgot, let me add that. So in action we have auth.actions, and here we have stored set Adam token. Fine. Okay, let's go to the private route, and let's create a constant token that is going to be window dot local storage dot get item, and it is token. So either I will get null or I will get token, right? So if I will see token, if it is token, then it will execute the if block, or if it is null, then it will be false and it will execute the else block. Here I'm going to say return, and here I'm going to say component, right? So component with the property like props. So we just spreaded this props over here. So whatever the property I'm getting, I will just spread over here. And the next, if it is not a token, it means user is not logged in, and redirect him, and also import redirect from React router DOM, and let him navigate to the login page. So we'll say to, and here it is going to be / sign in. Okay, now let's save this. So this is it, simple, right? Not difficult. If you have any doubt, just comment in the comment section. Okay, so let's go again. Your app.js file, private route is fine. Now let's go home page, and let's reload it, and you can see I'm in the admin dashboard. I think I'm logged in. You can check in the local storage. Sorry, we cleared the local storage. Now let's check token, and it is null. Now let's reload it, and you can see we have navigated to the sign in, because right now I'm not a logged in user. Now let's log in again. Okay, also after the login, let's let him navigate to the dashboard. Okay, so here you can see private route, and let's go to the container folder. Okay, sign in and index.js. Here we have a dispatch action login, and let's get a const auth equals to we'll say use selector. So here with this use selector, I can get the state store value, right? State, we'll say state dot auth. Okay, save this, and now let's come here and write if auth dot authenticate. So this is nothing but this one. You are familiar with it, right? Let me show you. Reducer, auth reducer, and this is what I'm checking, auth dot authenticate. Okay, so this is our store value, right? Now let's go app.js. That is actually sign in, right? Sign in, and here we have auth dot authenticate. If it is true, then we will navigate to the dashboard page, right? Redirect. So hopefully it's added. You can see React DOM, React route. Okay, so let's import React router, import from React router DOM, and now let's add redirect. Okay, so here you can see we have redirect. Let's say 2. So once if it authenticate is true, then we'll navigate to the home page, right? Now let's save this. Now let's check in your browser. Let's reload. Check the local storage null, get state, auth, and you can see auth token is null, right? Let's log in. Now let's try to log in. So akshay@webscript.info, password 123456. Now let's submit the request. Login request completed, login successful, and we are in the admin dashboard, right? Now if you try to reload and it's working fine, it's not a problem. Now if you want to go to the sign in page, let's say I want to go to the sign in page and I'm able to navigate to the sign in page. So this shouldn't happen after the login, right? So if you check in your action, like if you check in your store depends on the state, right? So if you check in your store auth and the token is again null, it's because, so when you are reloading your page, it is not persisting your token. Because of reloading, it is losing all the data, right? So let me write something for that. Here you can see we have an action, and we need to create one more action, that is const, that is going to be is user logged in. Okay, we'll say here and here and here we are going to return an async. We'll say dispatch, right? And here we're going to do the same thing, const. So we'll say token equals to local storage dot get item, that is token. You know, if token exists, then we'll return true, or we'll dispatch simply an action, right? Payload will be authenticate, that is going to be a false. And here we're going to say the message also, you can add something like user needs to log in. Okay, it's just for now, we'll correct it later. Okay, user logged in, and let's export this function. We'll say export const is user logged in. Now let's save, copy, and let's go to your sign in page. Okay, so where is our sign in page? Here is our sign in page, and we can write a component did mount like function with the help of effect. So we'll say use effect, and this is like component did mount. We'll say the second argument will be empty, this is an empty array, and here we're going to say dispatch, and we'll import the action is user logged in, so dispatch the action. Okay, so after the dispatching, we are going to get this, we are executing this action, we'll dispatch token. And now let's go to your private route. So where is our private route? No, let's go to your reducer. Here is our reducer, and here login success, payload, token, everything is there, right? Now let's write if token exists. Okay, so we'll dispatch an action, that is success. And one more thing I want to do, I just stored the token, right? So instead of storing just token, we can also store local storage dot set item, that is going to be a user, and here we're going to say JSON dot stringify, and here we're going to say that is like what is that? It's a user, right? Cool. Now save this, and we can access this here, right? So let's access const, and we'll say user equals to window local storage or window, anything is fine, get item, and here you can say that is user, right? And here we are going to dispatch the same action, this one actually. So let's copy this, copy. Now let's go and paste over here, and here we have got token, we have got user else case, we are getting error, right? So let's go and let's copy this action, actually copy, and so here instead of yeah, login failure is fine, error will say something like failed to retrieve. Okay, just say failed to log in, save. Okay, so we can save the user information as a JSON, and also if we are saving as a JSON, so here if we are saving, so if we are saving as a JSON, then we have to parse it also. So we'll say JSON dot parse, and here you can say, so local store get item. If we have token, then definitely we have user, right? So you can parse this stringify to JSON or user. And now let's check in the browser, right? So is there any problem? Use effect is not defined. So let's go to the app.js file and let's import the use effect. So it's a use effect. Now let's save and let's see what else. Use effect is not defined in sign in index.js file. Okay, sorry, wrong place. So let's remove from here. Now let's go to the sign in page, index.js, and let's add over here use state and then use effect, right? Save. Now let's go check your browser. Is user logged in is not defined. Okay, so let's import is user logged in, import, and here we're gonna say is user logged in from React, sorry, not React, but from the component, sorry, from the action, right? So let's go and find the actions. Here we have actions. Now here we are going to say that is user logged in. That's fine. Now let's save, and looks everything fine as we are logged in user. So that is logged in user actually worked, but it is not fully worked. If you check your store, you can see token will be there, but rest of the entity will be like nothing, user is null. Okay, so let's clear it again and clear, and now let's go to the sign in. Okay, there is a problem. Maximum update depth exceeded. This can happen when a component repeatedly calls set state inside a component will update. Means let's uncomment this, and instead of directly dispatching, first we will verify like if that actually needs to log in or not, right? So authenticate. If user is authenticated, when if it's true, then we will make it a false, and then we'll okay. So if it is true, then it will be false, and if it is true, then it means user is already logged in and we don't need to dispatch this action. But if it is false, then we will make it true and we'll dispatch that action. Okay, now let's go check your browser, uncomment that code. Okay, fine. Now let's reload. Fine. Now let's go to the sign in page, and you see you're trying to go to the sign page, but you are not able to navigate to that. Even if you try from this sign in, and you are not able to navigate, you are returned back to admin dashboard. So guys, this is working fine. In the next video, we'll work on the sign up page. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.